All right, let's see what this video is about. Europeans can save gaming.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Ross.
Hi,
For the
Ross.
past several months, I've been
Hi,
working on a
Patrice.
campaign to stop the destruction of video games.
What?
See, most video games work indefinitely, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But more and more are being designed to stop working the second support ends from the publisher. A
Oh,
kill
true.
switch, essentially. It's a form of planned obsolescence, where publishers are destroying games they've already sold to you, but keeping your money. And this is all preventable. Some people don't understand that. I've compared this before to studios from a century ago burning their own films after.
Vast majority of Hollywood silent films lost forever. Study confirms. Most of the feature-length films made by Hollywood during the golden age of silent films have been lost forever, according to a new study by U.S. Library. Wait, why? Only 40% of total, around 11,000 movies made between 1912 and 1930, is this in original format, with a further 11% available to view on foreign language versions or in lower quality format. Around 7% are completely lost. The failure of these early studios in most cases maintain silent era archives have been described as an alarming, irreparable loss to American cultural records by officials. Conclude an extensive 2-year study that the silent art form retained a real response. It's lost its style of storytelling. The best of the films are affected with audience today as they were initially released. Wait, what? Why would they destroy their films?
They were done showing them to recover the silver content. And now most films of that era are gone forever. That's very similar to what's happening to video games today. It's just a terrible practice for everyone involved. Now, most of my efforts have gone towards challenging the legality of this practice in various countries because it's so consumer hostile, it's not clear if what's going on is even legal. That's still ongoing, but now we have a new option, proposing new law, and for the entire European Union. It took months to
Oh,
get put together and
damn.
processed, but now we have a European Citizens Initiative devoted to halting the destruction of video games. You can read it yourself. This would require publishers to leave games they have sold to customers in a working state at the time of shutdown, without requiring any further
Oh.
connection to them or affiliated parties for the games to function.
You know what? That was a big problem with Mars Capcom. When Mars Capcom came out, you couldn't get that game legitimately instead of an emulator, like 10 plus years, I think. Honestly, it's only to recent time with that recent announcement we're finally getting a re-release of that game of 1 and 2 and other games. We're finally getting our hands on it. But yeah, I believe the last time you could actually purchase those games and actually play them or have it in your console was in PlayStation 3 era, I believe, with the Marvel Origins. Yeah, I think around there in the Xbox 360 Origin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, it's just so bizarre. And nowadays, it's like at least like if you have the console, you can still technically play them, right? But and nowadays, like once like Suicide Squad shuts down, which it will eventually shut down, guys, the game is not gonna be playable at all because it always needs an online connection for some goddamn reason. A single player game, not really with like heavy online, online presence. Well, they tried to, but it didn't work. It's a it will shut down if you don't have internet connection to the server or whatever. A single player game for the most part. Yeah, pretty sad.
How they would do this would be up to them. This would also apply to free-to-play games that contain microtransactions. Because if you purchased a microtransaction as a good, then the game is made unplayable, well then you just lost your goods. This would
True.
not require publishers to give up any of their intellectual property rights, give up their source code, though that one would still be nice. It wouldn't require endless support. They can end it anytime they want as far as we're concerned. They wouldn't need to host
True.
servers. Though they would have to either patch out that requirement or else allow customers to host them privately. Assume any liability for what customers do with their copies of games. And finally, nothing about this initiative would have any impact on publisher business practices while the game is being supported. In other words, publishers can continue doing whatever they want as long as you get to keep your game. It amazes me when some people say that's going too far in favor of the consumer. Though to be fair, that's probably not most Europeans. The idea here is we're just trying to stop games from being destroyed. That's it.
Damn,
So we're
that's
taking as
crazy.
narrow an approach as possible that still solves the problem.
That's
If we get enough
crazy.
signatures, then this goes before the European Union to be considered as new law. Now, if you're on board with this, you don't have to keep watching. You can go sign it right now. But wait, before you do, you have one chance to do this right.
Okay.
It's not hard, but if you make a mistake, your signature is invalidated and you don't get another chance.
What?
We've made guides at stopkillinggames.com on how to do this, just in case.
Oh wow.
But is
So
this
it's
as
a one
simple
shot
as
and
people
that's it?
sign this and it becomes law in the EU?
No.
Yeah, it might be.
Wait, what?
Now, it's not a guarantee, but I think if we get the signatures, this passes. Why do I say that? Well, it's a few factors. Politicians like easy wins.
True.
And this doesn't require them to do much at all.
That's
And
true.
unless it involves gambling or protecting children, politicians generally don't care about video games. So
True.
this isn't of big consequence to them or most of their constituencies. EU law is already unclear on a lot of this practice anyway, and we would be making it easy for them to settle it. It falls in line with other consumer practices. You know how when you buy something, you're generally allowed to keep it? And finally, this is a diversion from really serious topics that politicians would prefer not to deal with. This would let them stay busy and avoid hard stuff. In fact, I would bet if we can clear the signature
funny.
threshold, this passes into law and we solve the problem 90% or more. I say 90% because this would only impact the EU. So if a game was released only in China or Japan,
That's a different
yeah, this
story.
wouldn't save those. But most video
It's a
games are
different
sold
story.
globally,
Yeah.
and the EU is part of that. Once it's a requirement that companies have to let you keep the games they sold to you in a major market like that, I think it spreads, whether it's the law elsewhere or not. Now, unfortunately, what I would not bet on, because it's a huge unknown, is whether we can pass that signature threshold to begin with. In order for this to work, we need 1 million signatures across the EU.
Damn.
Though really, it's more than that.
Oh, across the
because some are
EU.
going to be invalidated because who knows why. So really, we need more like 1.2 or 1.3 million signatures. Oh, and it
EU?
gets worse because you need certain minimum thresholds per country for it to pass. So say somebody signs it in Greece.
Right.
Well, then we need almost 15,000 more Greeks to sign it. Otherwise, none of the Greek signatures count.
Wow.
That rule strikes me as rather obtuse and awkward. I almost wonder if the EU took a page
Wait, what the fuck? So you're saying if someone like, yeah, so 1% or let's say 1,400 sign in Greece, they need 1,000 more. If they don't, all their signatures are invalid. No wonder you said 1.3 or 1.2. Holy shit! What the hell?
from the United States for that one. Anyway, that's a lot of signatures. I might be delusional for attempting this. I don't know yet. Now, the good news is we have
honest.
1 year to get them all.
Oh, okay,
so we
okay.
will have time. Although I'll say right now, there is no way I can get that many Europeans just from my audience. The only way this works is by reaching out to European YouTubers and streamers and so on to get
Bro.
on board, and
Okay.
non-English speaking ones at that.
Oh.
Now, I'll do my part and promote this the best I can, but I have limited reach. In fact, since I've started Stop Killing Games, I want to say everyone I've reached out to never responded.
Wait, what?
So me reaching out doesn't work. It's a total failure rate. However, there are
God
two
damn.
things that
Are you
did
serious?
work.
Okay.
One is people reaching out to me, since I respond to a lot. And two is people just covering this on their own. That really worked. Which means if you're watching this,
Yes.
you may be a critical link in all this.
Woo!
Because
I
you
matter.
can tell other YouTubers, streamers, etc. about this initiative, and maybe they'll pick it up.
Right.
And again, it's even better if their core audience is non-English speaking. The number of native English speakers in the
Oh yeah, true. Because like, look at iBuy or like the Spanish speakers, which are really getting into that market. Hey, puedo hablar español si ustedes quieren. Hola, cómo estás todos? The reason why is because they have a big audience, a big viewer audience. Um, yeah, that I can see why they want to go for different like languages. I'm not just saying the Spanish, but different languages, obviously, because it's more different languages than just English, obviously. And yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this is an important thing, honestly, for like people that want to preserve their online games, since that's where like I guess the majority of the company are going towards now. Instead of making physical copy games now, they're just going more digital based. And physical copies are gonna be more becoming more of like a collectible item. Damn, I can't speak. A collectible item where people get now, which is kind of crazy. Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, because again, it will suck if your game just was gone out of nowhere and you paid money for it. It should be there forever, or as long as you have the equipment for it. You know what I mean? Or access to your account in some ways. Um, yeah, because that just sucks. If you buy a game and you eventually, like, you never know when you want to play it again, it's just shut down and you're like, oh, I can't longer play it. And one of the modern games right now, when you think about it, what I brought out earlier, the example of like Suicide Squad. Yeah, maybe the game is not the best one in the world to use an example, but it is a game that's connected to the internet. It could be also maybe with like I don't think Grand Theft Auto is gonna do that. I could be wrong, but who knows? But with Warner Brothers already talking about doing more live service games, this could be very very bad because they're already talking about doing Hogwarts Legacy as a live service game, the second one, which is insane. It's a bad idea, but it's Warner Bros. Of course they're gonna do it. Because that's their direction. They want to do live service games now. And so if this game is like we have to purchase it, especially purchase it and you put a lot of like money into it and it's just gone the next day, this is messed up. It's like really messed up. It's like all the time and effort I put into this game is gone. Worthless. That happens to every mobile game, by the way. Eventually, the mobile game stops being what do you want to call it, practical, or has support. Once that mobile game is gone, it's gone. And what happened? It didn't last for too long, so I don't know how much money people spend. But like Mega Man XY, that game shut down. They did an offline version of it, but it pretty much shut down. Right? Dokkan Battle has been going on for 9 years. That game is about to shut down, bro. It's about to shut down. Or will it? Because they're bringing back Dragon Ball Daima. So it's like, who knows how long it's gonna go? Never mind. But you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of more games already shut down. Yeah, you spend a lot of money on those gacha games, and when Citizen shut down, you lose it. You lose access to everything. It's gone. All the money you put in, all the time you put in, is gone. And that's why I stopped buying stuff in gacha or even DLC in general. Like the only DLC I've been buying lately, or like that I bought lately, was like um Terry Borgard from Smash Bros. That's literally it. Is that a dead pixel or that's me?
The EU is relatively
Oh, that's him.
small, so we need to connect the dots in other languages the best we can. Now, I'm offering myself for interviews, publicity on this issue, whatever, to almost anyone with a European audience of some size. In addition to that, the official
Mwah,
spokesperson
Asmongold?
and backup
mwah.
spokesperson for the
What?
initiative have offered to speak on this also. And they are
Ooh.
multilingual. And we have a few more official organizers who may be willing to discuss this in other languages as well.
Live interviews
These
are
are the
as
people
possible?
officially in charge. You know, actual Europeans. Yeah, even though I've helped, officially, I'm not a part of this. I'm not eligible. Doesn't matter. Whatever gets us to the finish line. And speaking of eligibility, it's pretty simple. You need to be a citizen of an EU country, though you don't have to live there, and you need to be at least voting age. That's it. This also means it's not
Okay.
just you who can sign this, but your friends can sign this. Your family can sign this.
Huh?
Girlfriends, boyfriends can sign this. They all count. Get everybody. And tell them to
Like
get people to
the
sign too.
dinosaur?
And yes, it feels weird that I'm an ineligible American campaigning for Europeans to sign a document. But you know what? If it passes, we all win. So we just have to go
True.
to where the openings are.
Pretty much.
Oh, and if
true.
your relatives or whoever don't care about video games, you can explain to them this is also about not losing
Losing
basic ownership.
of
Like if video
yeah.
games were cars, what's happening now would be like if I sold you a car at full price, then later, and I wouldn't tell you how much later, so it's not a rental, I then came to your house and
Eh.
repossessed your car. But I also kept your
Pretty
money.
much.
That is not good business. Or not for the consumer, anyway. Yeah, I guess taking back what you've sold is great for businesses. Maybe that's why the industry is worth more than movies and music combined. I get it. Video games aren't that important to most people. But because of that, they're the canary in the coal mine. What about farm equipment, education tools, medical devices? You do
Mm.
not want this practice spreading
Simulators?
to other areas, believe me.
True.
The one thing I want to say is some of you have already done the math and realized we need an average of over 2,700 signatures a day in order to make this work. I'll say right now, we're not going to get that many every day. This stuff happens in waves as big people pick it up. Plenty of days will be
True.
below
Especially
par, but
nowadays.
others
Yeah.
could be 10 times or higher. So don't write this off too early. Don't be that guy I've seen in team games who gives up at the slightest sign of resistance and calls it game over 30 seconds into the match. I hate that crap. I think we're at a crossroads. If we can get enough signatures, then I think we end this and change gaming history.
That's
Or
good.
we can't get our act together and the problem gets worse and worse, then
Yeah.
in the future, we really don't own anything. And we're charged a lot for not owning anything. Now, maybe
Yeah, I mean that's what some companies want to do now. It's like you buy stuff, but you don't actually own it. That's a very bad thing. Imagine it goes to like things you never even thought of. That it's like I can't believe it's like that. Where like you don't actually own your Pokemon cards. Okay, I don't know what's gonna with that exaggerated, but let's just say you don't actually own your Pokemon cards. You can actually just take them away as soon as anytime you want. But no, no. What this is mostly talking about, obviously, is like online stuff, online things. And it's just video games per se, but it could go even to movies. People who bought movies in like what was it, Funimation, I believe. When that got shut down, they all lost their movies they have access to or they bought. I believe that's the case. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But yeah, they lost a lot of money. A lot of customers lost their movies because they had it on that website and it's gone. It's gone. They no longer have access to their movies. That's stupid. There's no offline version of it, of your movies that you actually bought. Like that is utterly insane.
we get lucky and this is redundant due to all the other legal challenges we have going. But either way, this is it for your chance to save games. There's not going to be a round two. If you or someone you know is an EU citizen, you have the power to end this just by signing a form. Though this plan may have a critical weakness, and that
Uh-huh.
I'm counting on gamers to care about not seeing their games destroyed.
Oh yeah.
I hope that's not too big an ask. Because years from now, somebody could be saying, yeah, I had the chance to save gaming, but it required me to open up a whole new tab in my browser and fill in my name and a CAPTCHA. Oh my God. So I didn't
Yeah.
do it. It was just too much work. It
Wasn't
wasn't worth
worth
it.
it.
If that's the general
Calling you
sentiment
out.
among gamers, then yeah, I can't overcome that. Then I'm
And then honestly, if that's something for a majority of gamers, we all like you deserve to lose your games. You deserve to lose ownership. You no longer deserve to own games anymore. You did this to yourself. You know what I mean? And I can't sign it because I'm not EU resident, but this should go so maybe to Ludwig, you know? I think Ludwig should see this.
Don Quixote here fighting windmills. I hope that's not the case. So, yeah, go sign it or
Hi, I'm a noob. Hey, are you a European? If you are, sign this right here to save games.
tell somebody European about it.
uh, so we just watched a video. So they're trying to do like a pass a law where like even if games are no longer um if games are no longer like online anymore, you should be able to still play the game and not lose access to the game. And this is why it's very very important for people to sign right now. Because if you guys don't want to lose access to your games, especially if it's an online game like Minecraft, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, uh, you go any live service like games, Overwatch, whatever. If you don't want to ask access to them in some way, some form, where you don't want to play. I mean, those are free games like Overwatch and all that. Well, it didn't start free, but you know the new ones is free. But like, yeah, games you had to pay money you pay like a lot of like for like what do you call it? Cosmetic stuff. You don't want to lose access to that. You want to actually continue owning the game and play it like whenever you want to play it. Sign this petition if you're European because it will help this pass the law and then it goes spread to other places too as well. And it's a very serious thing too because uh for the most part, yeah, if you buy stuff online, guys, all your online games you have online right now, like your Steam account or whatever account you use, Epic or whatever, you could lose access to it one day. Like it could be a couple games here and there, all the games. Who the hell knows at this point? And because some of these are connected online, right? Online games is connected to something, so you can't play it offline somehow. Um, I mean that's not majority of games, by the way, but yeah. So yeah, they need to sign this up. Number of statements support collected. Total signatures is about 129,000, 25,000 signatures right now, which is pretty good. Pretty good. And it just started too, by the way. It started, so the deadline is until next year on 7/31st of July. So we still have a long way to go. I cannot sign it because I'm not European, but if you guys know someone who's European, sign this. You motherfuckers. Save your games. Save the games, man. Told my father they could take karaoke away. He signed it right away. You can't speedrun this, bro. Casted the secret spell. Fun fact: the business practice already spread to the cars in a way. BMW already introduced subscriptions to. I saw that. I was I was surprised they did that. They the subscriptions in cars, like even some what the bro. Features are built into car regardless. So far, reverted the decisions to offer subscription-based heating pads, but they were not planned to stop them altogether. Anyway, I did my part, signed a petition. I made a minor mistake. All of the signatures count, but if only seven plus countries pass the threshold, we'll need truckloads of them either way. Oh, okay. Just saw a PC Gamer article talking about this petition. That people are taking action. It's already 8%, and minimum threshold is not equal to these countries. So yeah, them Brazilian, Portuguese. You're doing good work, Mr. Freeman. I'm not a citizen of you, but I want this to be part of of every country's law, not just for games, but also all entertainment, art, media, and movies and songs. Yes, like I said, people lost access to their movies in Funimation, I believe. 2 days in as 8%. Signatures achieved. The ball is rolling fast. Yeah, it's only been 8 days, so yeah, hopefully this is a serious thing for like entertainment purposes, guys, in general. When you buy stuff, you want to own it, not just like own it for some time and it would just be gone the next day. You know what I mean? So hopefully it does get passed. This is a very serious thing. I will obviously post a link to everything on this and kind of go from there.